President Obama will be visiting Senegal, Tanzania and South Africa this week. How would you define U.S. engagement with the African continent at present?
U.S. engagement with Africa at present is probably at its highest level it has been in years, and there's various reasons for that. It's probably best to break it down into several sort of scopes of the engagement. The first would be on economic advancement. The U.S. is looking to take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that are available in Africa. We've seen statistics, 6 of the 10 fastest African economies in the world are in Africa. So the government's looking to further strengthen and assist American corporations and American companies getting involved in Africa. There's also a large component when it comes to peace and security. Well, as we know, with Al-Shabaab in Somalia and Boko Haram in Nigeria and various other terrorist groups, there's been a need from the national security standpoint for America to be involved. And they're not just involved operating on their own. A lot of it comes down to partnerships and working with the African Union, with the United Nations, and other bilateral relations with key governments.
The Obama administration has developed what they call a strategy for better engagement with the African continent. Why is there a need for such a strategy?
The need was quite crucial because they needed to focus on certain areas. So what the strategy document actually does is lay out 4 pillars. Because before, you had various U.S. government agencies that were working on similar topics. So a big part of the strategy in the Obama administration was to coordinate their efforts to make sure the results are substantial, where before there was a lot of loose actions. So it basically tied up American involvement in Africa. And also what the strategy does is it got rid of the negative term of aid, because there was always a lot of talk when it came to U.S. policy in Africa about America just giving aid and not sort of helping Africa to help itself. So what the new document talks a lot more about investment and assisting governments to be able to help themselves.
What do you think President Obama will be remembered for from an African perspective specifically?
I think he might be remembered for being a latecomer to visit Africa. He was in Ghana in 2009. A lot of people wanted to see a historical visit during his first term. And a lot of Africans, from the African perspective, talk about the Libyan situation when it comes to American involvement. But I think what he's trying to do now, and a big part of that strategy, is about building a long-term relationship. He's focused on a lot of newer initiatives, such as Feed the Future, which is a food security program.
Yes.
Obama is also continuing with the legacy of President George W. Bush, who launched his PEPFAR program in 2003, which is the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. And this program is the largest U.S. global health program by far, and it's helped save millions of African lives in terms of prevention and treatment of the HIV/AIDS program. So he's also looking to do his own initiatives that sort of have that legacy part of it. And one of the main emphasis he's been putting on is the next generation of young African leaders. The Obama administration wants to engage willfully and rightfully with the African youth, because they understand that they are the future of the continent because of the demographics, and they're the future political leaders and economic entrepreneurs that are going to the ones who need to carry because of the demographics, and they're the future political leaders and economic, because they understand that they are the future of the continent because of the demographics, and they're the future political leaders and economic entrepreneurs that are going to the ones who need to carry the continent forward. And if that takes place, obviously you'll see a lot more U.S.-Africa trade involvement, but also a more sound footing when it comes to politics and defense, and just a stronger partnership between the two, U.S. and Africa.